We have a motion? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I request a
Dr. Sutherland?
I urge a no vote on this item. I checked on it and I talked to staff about it. This is a voluntary item suggested by TASB, and I have no problem with the fact that it was on the agenda, but I think we should vote it down. I do not think it is proper for staff to have carte blanche to look at our emails and our documents, and I do not think it is in the board's interest to require us to keep all our documents in case someone wants to look at them. So I urge a no vote, and furthermore, if it passes, I'm not going to do it. I would like to know, well, let's let it pass, and I can make a little comment afterwards. Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Moss?
I think the last board meeting when we talked about this in the first reading, I think it was the first reading, I was told, I think, was it Mr. Davey stated that I think it was emails we talked about that would not be, they're not actually monitoring our systems, but if open records requested information, then that's something that we would have to, we would have to comply with. And this is something in line with changes with TEA. Am I right? That's the way I understood it.
Yes, ma'am. We have.
I'd like to speak again, if I may.
We have.
I believe
here.
Ms.
Yeah,
Moss has the floor right
she's
now.
coming up now.
Oh, excuse me.
Ms. Moss, Dr. Sutherland, yes, this was a recommendation from TASB that we align our policies for board member communication in line with our employee and our student policies, and it is a recommendation from TASB to do so.
Dr. Sutherland?
You recognize that it's a voluntary thing and that some districts are doing it and some aren't, right? I talked to TASB about this.
And I don't know what other districts have done. I've not talked to them, but we've just taken their recommendation and brought it forward to you for consideration.
Well, the man I talked to at TASB is a former board member, and he said he wouldn't vote for it either if it was on his agenda. I mean, the board members can vote what they want to, but I want you to know that I do not have complete confidence that our email records have never been looked at without the benefit of open records requests. There are times when I believe they have been meddled with inappropriately. I can't prove it, but that's what I fear. I do not see any reason in the world for us to give staff carte blanche to do that at their will. They're still going to have the right we have the requirement to respond to open records requests, but the idea that we would be told that we have to keep all records in case somebody wants to look at them, I'm sorry, I just don't agree. I can't imagine a business telling members of the board of directors that they were going to snoop on their records whenever they felt like it. I can't imagine a business board putting up with that. Although, Mr. Dickerson, perhaps you know better than I do about boards. I don't know much about commercial boards, but I think this is just. Thank you.
And clear it up.
Well, the records would be maintained in accordance with our records retention plan, which we need to bring forward.
And these are referred to on district equipment only.
Yes, and district-owned or district-provided equipment.
So if I write an email to you, and I take it, I delete it after I write it, I'm breaking the rule?
Are you using?
I'm using the computer that Kyle gave me, yes.
That email record would be kept, there would be a record, even if you deleted it off your machine, the record would be still in the district
On the hard
server.
drive, yes.
Well,
And that's pretty much consistent with any business operation anywhere that those
okay,
email
but I still
records
don't
are
want
retained.
management to have. That's my view. You don't have to agree with that. My view is I don't want management to have the right to look at my emails just because they feel like it.
But Ray, that's only if she sends it on her, well, that's true, it went to Bertha,
Yeah.
so
Well-
if you use your private email, you can do it with yours, but
I use my private email a lot, and if this passes, I'm going to have all my district email
We'll never,
forwarded to my private email.
you got a motion, a second, we're gonna vote on it.
Well, we're not supposed to be using it for personal information anyway, but I don't send an email on Fort Worth ISD technology system if anybody in the district can't read it. I just don't place those kind of emails on the school system's equipment. So any email I place on the system can go anywhere. I don't care. It's my personal email that I use. But TEA wanted this to be, well, not necessarily, we don't have to do it, but I think we might need to look at what other districts are doing it. But anytime you're using someone else's system, like the taxpayers' dollars, I think it's going to have to be open.
It doesn't have to be open to staff to look at if they feel like it.
Well, they shouldn't be looking at it just because they feel like
Yeah,
it.
but
Ms. Watley, would you speak into the mic so we can all hear
Well, I'm
and
just saying that
tell
it's
us
a
the...
violation, that's an unauthorized use of our email system, and it violates our email access policy. If I look at your records and I don't have the authority to do that.
In our system, there's a record for everyone who goes in to
Into
look
a-
at your record.
Yes.
It is recorded. So any personal information they look at, it is recorded on the system,
They can be terminated.
and it can be tracked as to who's looking at any information.
Dr. Sims, did you have something?
Well, under the Open Records Act, you can look at them anyway, so, you know,
That's
it's
correct.
nothing that you can hide if someone wants to see your email.
Well, you're right, and, you know, my policy is I don't put anything on there that I wouldn't want my mother and wife and children to see. So, it's a matter of personal judgment to protect yourself, I think. We have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, let's move to voting. The motion carries 6-3 with Mr. Rangel, Dr. Sutherland, and Dr. Sims voting no.